Greetings, webheads, and welcome to episode 9 of Witty Banter, yet another Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. I'm Patrick.
Alex.
Slim Shady.
David.
We are here to help you get better. We are here to help you get better at and have more fun with your Crisis Protocol. Today's kind of a weird episode. It's going to be a time travel episode. We are recording this before squad goals in Chicago, but you are hearing this either during or after said event. So one of the things we're going to be talking about in this episode is how team events work, what you think through, how to assemble a squad. So that's how we're going to be talking about that. And you'll be hearing it as squad goals comes out. So hopefully by the end of the episode or shortly thereafter, we'll know how everything that we talked about here actually worked its way out. This is episode 9, and we have also promised to do our giveaway for our Patreons and for those of you who have left us a rating and review. Thank you to all of you who have done so. And our winner will be selected accordingly. Greetings, webheads. This is Future Patrick, here to let you know that Travis Ellis is the winner of our most recent giveaway. Travis, congratulations. You've got a Benham box coming your way. If you'd like to have an entry into our next giveaway, as well as get priority roster dojoing, access to our bonus episodes, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff, as well as helping us keep the lights on, come and join us at patreon.com/wittybantercast. Now, back to the show. So congratulations to our winner. So now let's move in and kind of into the meat of the conversation. Gentlemen, what is squad goals? Let's start right from that. What's the nature of this tournament? How does it differ from other tournaments?
Squad goals, it's a team tournament, 3-player teams. And for squad goals specifically, you cannot duplicate characters, but you can have duplicates of team tactics cards and crisis cards. Most team tournaments out there, or at least all the ones that I've looked into and participated in, is Highlander style. You can only have one of everything in each list. So you can only have hammers in one list out of all 3. You can only have Brace for Impact in one list of all 3. And you can only have Hulk in one list of all 3.
So let's maybe take one step back, just for someone who's never played in a team tournament. How does a team tournament look different than just a regular singles tournament? How does it work mechanically?
Mechanically, there's a team captain, and between when pairings go up, the captains will roll for priority to select pairings between the two teams. Whoever has priority, they place the first roster on a table of their choice, and then the other team places their roster on a different table, and then...
And the rosters are hidden.
Yeah, they're blind. They're all blind. Yes, that is correct. They are all blind, so you don't know who you're going into. It's kind of a hope that you get the list that you want to play against.
But
you get to see once it flips over.
Yeah, once you... Yeah. The ones flip once both players, or both teams place their
correct. So when the lists go down, they're blind, and then they flip once they're placed, and then you place lists against those lists that have already been placed, and then face down still, and then once those are placed, you reveal, and then obviously by process of elimination, the last 2 rosters play each other on the last table. Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 rosters that get placed are hidden, and then
on separate
tables, and then the team with priority then gets to pick which of the 3 tables can they
they'll pick. So you'll put somebody down into whoever they put down. So like say we put down
Team A puts down list 1. Team B puts down list 1 on another table. And then Team A has to pick a list to go against Team B's list that's already been placed.
The list has been revealed.
Correct.
So after the first two lists, one from each team, are put down, then they're revealed.
Correct.
So you know what the list is. And then the team with priority then gets to pick another roster that they think would be better to go into that particular.
And it's kind of simultaneous at that point.
Yeah, it is kind of simultaneous.
Okay.
Because you'll put one face down against the opposing list that's revealed, and one of yours has already been placed down, and then you put the third one on the empty table.
So what are the strategy things that how do you strategize how to game out the roster composition or the table selection?
Well, maybe I guess we don't talk about rosters now. I guess we'll talk about the actual play in it.
The strategy is, from what we've come up with, we have a list that we just put out there that just takes the first hit.
So that's
sometimes we kind of look at, like, I would advise you would, like, in this situation, you want to look at your opposing team's roster and go, okay, like, what potential do they have? What do you want? What are we trying to engineer as far as matchups go?
Right.
Because you know what the three rosters that the other team has.
So it's like maybe my roster is terrible into webs, so maybe we want to avoid webs. So maybe I just put my roster down, or maybe we hold it and see what they put down and then just counter.
So I think you need an all-comers list. At
Yes.
least one. Just to be able to put down. If you have a list that has a weakness, especially weakness against something that's common, you're going to get that common thing dropped into you and be at a disadvantage from turn 0. So you kind of want at least one list to be able to just be able to play the game no matter what.
And that's the list that you put down first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically.
It doesn't always have to go that way.
No,
right?
but that's usually what we do.
Well, and, maybe you could also look at, like, whoever's going down. Maybe you just are like, well, that player's probably just going to have to eat it. And if they lose, they lose. But because in order to win the round, you have to have 2 victories. So, like, if one person loses, then you can still win.
Does it make a difference? Like, is there any difference in the scoring if, like, your team goes 3-0 as opposed to 2-1?
Yeah, the scoring it's one of the tiebreakers?
It's a tiebreaker, yeah.
I think that's the first tiebreaker.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So, in other words, total wins for the 3 teams.
The first tiebreaker.
Correct.
Another strategy, we've never done it, but if like a team has, I guess if a team's kind of imbalanced, they've got like 2 out of their mind players, they might offer their weaker player, and then expect the 2 really good players to be able to place into advantageous boards.
Yeah, so basically we're just
I don't know
throwing
if that's
away
good, but
the
that's
person.
another strategy that's possible.
Because you, at the bare minimum, you want to make sure that you're winning 2.
Yeah.
So if you've got 2 really strong players, you want to put them in the most advantageous position possible.
Yeah. And things can go wrong with that, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is a strategy.
And it's not a terrible one, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I think you'd probably want to play toward the list more.
Yeah.
If you have an all-comers list. Unless you give the weaker player an all-comers list. And then you can play both strategies at the same time.
Yeah.
Another strategy, I guess, if you have a really, really, really good player and you just put them down and just expect them to outplay the opponent, whoever they are, and then it gives the weaker players more of an advantage to go into an advantageous match.
Yeah. Where you could set up what they're playing.
Yeah. It kind of depends. I don't know. We've never really gamed these. We just usually do the all-comers list goes down.
Yeah.
I don't think we've tried any other strategies, so.
And then when that list comes down, we kind of sort of go, okay, I'm trying to dodge this roster, so I'm gonna because that's how you do it, right? Because if you got say your opposing team has a roster that you're just like, okay, I know I can't handle this roster, so I'm gonna, the all-comers gonna go down, and then they're gonna put somebody down. Well, depending on who they flip over, it'll be like, okay, if they put down the person I don't want to go into, then we'll just put the other player into them, and then the other two will just play. Like you can game it so that at least one person can avoid a matchup. You should be able to game it at least.
Yeah.
And we'll get into roster composition here in a second, but do you think about this process, the team selection process, when you're putting your rosters together?
Yeah, I mean, just in the fact that someone probably wants an all-comers list.
Yeah.
I don't think you want all your lists to be skewed because, I mean, you have to offer one of them.
Yeah.
If you offer something that's not very good against something, then it's probably gonna get taken advantage of. So, but other than that, I think you look for lists that are. I mean, you can just make really strong lists. You could bring 3 all-comer lists. It's probably fine. But the format offers a chance to really make some lists that are skewy.
Yeah, like Kingpin Criminals, right? Like, you could just engineer it so that Kingpin Criminals is not playing whoever brings pay to flips, right? And just create an advantageous situation for Kingpin Criminals.
Can you make it so he never plays pay to flips?
You can in Highlander. You can't do it in like our situation.
Can you in Highlander though?
Well, yeah, because one.
You just put him into the person who's offered.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You basically just avoid it.
Sure.
Which you could do that.
Unless what's offered is a pay to flip.
And if what's offered is a pay to flip, then you just put the other player down.
Yeah.
But that only works in a Highlander circumstance where
because everybody could just play whatever.
Right.
Like you could at squad goals. I mean, there's a bunch of teams who have like 3 attrition lists or 3 scoring lists or.
It's gonna be weird.
It is gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird.
So, and we'll get into that a little bit, but basically, this squad goals is kind of a skewed team tournament because you can have tactics cards and crisis cards that are repeated.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that can't be repeated is the characters. So you have to bring 30 unique characters, and then everything else is all bets are off there. So.
Okay. So the roster generation is the same regardless of this one or a more kind of standard Highlander type team tournament. So let's talk about, since that's going to be the same, how, if at all, is roster building for a team tournament different than roster building for an individual tournament?
Well, the first thing that I think of when it comes to that is you got to talk like a team. You can't just be like, I'm taking X, Y, and Z, and you deal with it. I'm taking these, period.
Yeah.
You got to talk like a team and really discuss these kinds of things.
There's got to be compromise, right?
Yeah, there's got to be compromise. It's one thing, like, if somebody wants to play Avengers, well, yeah, they're going to take Captain America. That's just a no-brainer. But situations with, like, splash characters, is Voodoo better as a splash character in Asgard, or is he a better Avenger? Well, he's affiliated Avengers, so you would think if the Avengers player wants him, you'd probably go with the Avengers
usually
player.
you're gonna give affiliated characters to whoever's playing that affiliation. They're gonna get like dibs, basically.
Right.
You can kind of work it around though.
Generally speaking, it depends on how deep the affiliation is.
Yeah.
Too.
Very true. I just giving an example.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So how did it work for you guys when you were putting your rosters together for this? Did you each kind of have an idea of what you wanted to take? Did you have to kind of shuffle things back and forth a little bit?
Well, I think me and you wanted to just jam researcher at people because everybody's going to be trying to play all these scoring teams. Yeah. So we're like trying to engineer a way to like.
So in this case, you're actually taking advantage of the weirdo format.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're not taking advantage of this one, you're wrong.
There's a lot of players who don't like researchers, so it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this at you until they figure out what to do about it.
I guess I wanted to talk about it a little later, but we could talk about it now. So the way the format is, you can bring Webs, Hellfire, and
like Wakanda or
you
whoever.
could just bring all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And just stack the same crises, which isn't bad because those are like the top
teams are gonna do it.
Top I don't know, 3, top 5.
Yeah, they're in the top 5 affiliations.
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's doable. You can totally like. What's the overlap there? Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, like that's about it, right?
I mean, Hellfire kind of wants Miles and Cat and stuff, but they could do without.
Yeah,
because they can take anybody. They could take X-23 and Zemo and be fine.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to go all researcher.
Yeah, we just wanted to go. We're gonna screw whatever you guys are doing.
So explain the thought behind that.
So all those teams that the Wakanda, Hellfire, and Webs don't want to play researchers. So.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's a 1 out of 3 chance, but if everyone's bringing it, you've got. I mean.
Well, and we just went.
You got the Russian roulette factor there.
Not high scoring crisis in general. Like I don't think any of it. None of us are running scoundrels.
I'm running scoundrels.
Oh, you're running scoundrels, but you're Avengers. Avengers are good.
JP
scoundrels.
and I are both running scrolls.
Yeah. Scrolls is kind of mid range.
We're both running scrolls and hammers and researcher. We have all.
And I'm running hammers too.
You're running researcher hammers. The only difference is you're running virus instead of scrolls.
Yeah, I'm virus.
But our extracts are strikingly similar.
Yeah, they're real
So we're running a good handful of high scoring.
We just want to punch.
Or not high scoring.
High threat. I just want to take Thanos and be like, Shield-mobile, take this fist.
So going back to the compromise thing, usually in the Highlander tournament, you want to. I mean, you're forced into taking teams that are different anyway, just because of the scenarios. So
yeah, because you have to take all the scenarios.
Someone's running some kind of scenario team, scory team. Someone's running an attrition team, and then someone's got pay to flip duty. It might be full on pay to flip, or it might be like a hybrid.
Yeah.
But someone's got to take some pay to flip somewhere.
Yeah.
You could like work it so that
everybody's running one of the pay to flip.
You could probably work it out, but I don't know if that's optimal because
there are teams that are just kind of built to play pay to flips
if
well.
You're gonna play webs, I don't think you want to run a pay to flip yourself.
What you said, Patrick, and there's teams that just don't want to run pay to flips.
Right.
And there are a lot of good teams don't want to run pay to flips. So if you're working a pay to flip into every team, I'd question like, what are you even running for your 3 teams? Like, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, they're sort of like giving a little bit of a disadvantage to all 3 of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, you could run Sword for a Killy team. You could run Meteors for a Killy team, and then Madman for something. I don't know. I mean, you could split them up, but I don't think
it's a good strategy.
I don't think it's great.
No, I think you want to stack. You want to stack your crisis so that your team is it. You want to be at least as good as you can possibly be on the crisis that you bring.
Yeah, and I feel like that in the Highlander, that's the least compromise on the team. If everybody's open to playing whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you're not compromising on what you're like the affiliation you're playing. But it's like, okay, who wants to play the scory stuff? Who wants to play the killy stuff? And who wants to play the pay to flippy stuff? Like you're not going to be like, "Oh, I want to play this" cuz you're already playing the scory or the killy or whatever.
So does a Highlander tournament basically break down like that? You have a score team, you have a murder team, and you have a pay to...
It does kind of force people into archetypes.
Well, I don't necessarily think it forces, but if you want to like do good,
yeah, I don't think there's a force there, but I think optimally, it's the way to go.
Yeah, because I mean, technically, like you just said, JP, you could put a pay to flip in everybody's list.
You could.
Why?
Well, and there's enough secures where one of the secures gets left out. You have to play all the extracts.
Or 3, I mean.
There's 3...
sorry. 3 secures and 1 extract.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
12 and 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there, you could leave some secures out.
Yeah, but there's 4 pay to flips, so you're
gonna take at least one. Yes, you could take at least one.
And then you're like taking Fisk and
yeah, and that's the other thing, right? It depends on if you think you can. I mean, most people don't like to play Fisk, so like.
Yeah.
You could like just game Fisk for a team.
Yeah, I mean you could cut out all the pay to flips maybe. You might run into issues though with extracts and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like it's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you can make it it just ends up there's not a lot of overlap with characters either sometimes when you do it like that. Like the attrition teams don't want to necessarily have characters that the scenario teams do, so
it actually makes
like most attrition teams aren't going to be trying to run like Cat.
Yeah. So it just makes it easier in that respect too. Yeah.
So, so how would your? I mean, right now it sounds like your roster composition for this tournament is just we've got a particular plan that we want kind of all the rosters or most of the rosters to run, and we're just going to jam it at that because you think that's going to be effective against what you're expecting other teams to take. Am I hearing that right?
Well, and I mean, Squaggles, I mean, all of the good players are going to be there. Well, not all, but like a lot of the good players are going to be there.
So Alex typically runs beta flips. He's comfortable on them. We don't have to take beta flips, but we decided that since he runs them a lot and people don't like playing them anyway, why not run them?
Yeah.
I hate demons, so you'll never see me play a list with demons.
It's true. So he's running X-Force. Typically he runs X-Men, but we decided that X-Force is probably the better way to go. You're not... Yeah, you are playing all beta flips, though.
Yes.
You got Madman,
Madman, Meteors, and Sword.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he has X-Force, David has Shield, and typically we wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. Well, I guess we would have to fight over Researcher, right?
Yeah,
and Hammers.
We'd have to fight over Researcher and Hammers.
And Scrolls.
Well, I'm
Oh,
not
we
running
would.
Scrolls.
Well, but out of all three of our lists.
Yeah. But it allowed me to run Avengers, where I would have typically probably, if it was Highlander, I wouldn't be running Avengers.
Because is it fair to say both JP, David, both you guys kind of have a more attrition focused team?
Avengers are interesting because they can kind of do.
That's true.
They wear a lot of hats. They can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was one compromise I had to make with our lists for squad goals. Is I wanted Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, and
because he's really good with Steve.
And I had him in my Shield roster.
But he's affiliated Shields, and he's a good 3.
Yeah.
So there's other splashes I can use. I think Spectacular is probably optimal, just because on B's and F's, he can web swing up to the back B or F, be on the point. He can double impact web.
Yeah.
Generate 2 power, and then be like fully loaded for next round.
Yeah. And possibly push 2B off.
Possibly push 2 off.
Yeah, it's good.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. I picked up Gwen instead.
Which
who can do? She can move up, impact web, and web line. So it's whatever.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's more tanky.
Cheap lightsabers are always good too, though, right?
I mean, Gwen with Steve is like giving Gwen a bodyguard is pretty legit.
Pretty legit. Well, and lifesaver on like Hulk.
Yeah,
is just like stupid.
just having bodyguard on Gwen.
Yeah,
is just really good because she is the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah. She can definitely.
she gets smushed.
Yeah, she can definitely.
Real easy.
Yeah. Especially outside of webs.
Exactly.
With no reroll, with no defensive reroll.
No defensive reroll.
Yeah.
Which doesn't do shit anyway because it's 3 out of 8 and I can't roll defense dice. But David likes it.
David can also roll an 8 on a D6.
That's true.
So once the games actually start, because it's, you're playing 3 of them and you can go 2 and 1. Does it change how you play the game itself in any way? Are you thinking about anything differently because you're playing in a team as opposed to?
I mean, you gotta go in like trying to win, right? Like, I don't think you go in and go, I'm just gonna play this player and lose because they're the better player.
But would you ever be like take more risks to try to get a win because you think it's more necessary for? And I guess I'm just thinking, does because you have a team that you could lose 1 and still get 2, would you ever sort of swing for the fences more, try to get a win even with a riskier play, knowing that you might be able to have your teammates pull you back off if it doesn't work out?
No.
Once you're playing the games that like once you're rolling dice, like I don't think that really enters what you're doing.
No, in my brain, like once tables have been selected,
Yeah.
the whole team idea kind of goes out the window. Not in a bad way, but it's just like now I got to focus on the game.
Yeah, but you can, so like going to the pairing, right? You can also like look at the table layout too and be like, okay,
Yep.
maybe I want to play on this table because it only has 1-4 and I don't want to get 4s thrown at me. So like there's that's a thing to think about too.
So if one of your teammates goes with a win and the other one gets a loss, I don't think it changes anything because that's basically like you're playing a solo game at that point.
Yeah.
If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. So I don't think you take riskier plays to try to win because then you would do that any game.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I suppose the theory would be is if you knew both of your teammates had won already,
If they already won.
then
Well, then the pressure's off.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right.
Either way, if they both lost, pressure's off. They both
That's
win, pressure's off.
That's
Yeah.
true. But yeah, because the 3-0 is just a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the wins are just
So the important thing is to win the match or the team round, so to speak.
Yes.
So if you know that both your teammates have won, you might have a little more incentive to just go YOLO and go for a win. And if you lose, you lose because you've still won the main match.
Usually that doesn't typically happen though, right? Because it's very rare that you know if your other teammates have won or not. Sometimes you do, but
Do you ever want to know how your teammates are doing during your matches?
no, because I think you lose focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too much to think about.
It's too much.
Yeah. The only time I really was curious is like, oh, I'm winning 15-2. So like I really don't care at that point. There's literally no way I'm going to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
But most of the time, no, I don't want to have that distraction. Unless one of your teammates is bad with a death clock.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's been your preparations for a team tournament, and does it look or feel any different than the way you would just prepare for a singles or for kind of a standard list that you're working with?
I mean, I do think that a team tournament gives an opportunity for rosters that may not be like S tier to like just be able to engineer the right matchup. So like you could play somebody that's a little bit weaker, but maybe they're skewed into like the set of crisis that you're bringing.
Is that because every roster isn't going to be like 100% min max?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of different preparation, to be honest.
No.
I wish I had a more exciting answer for you, but
Yeah.
As far as like the rosters themselves, I mean, it's just practice, right? But like, I mean, there is like, usually when we do a team tournament, we're like, okay, who wants to play what? Like, we're usually kind of like trying to feel out, like, what do we want to play? What do we think is good in the meta currently? What do we think everybody else is going to play?
Yeah.
How much of that's a good point. So how much of that goes into what you are doing for your roster composition, particularly with this kind of a tournament where you can have the crisis you want and the tactics cards that you want. How much of your roster selection is sort of trying to forecast what you're going to be facing?
Well, I mean, I'm expecting to see webs and Hellfire.
A lot of
Wakanda.
webs, Hellfire, and Wakanda.
I'm expecting to see, I mean, every roster is probably going to bring. Somebody's going to have Bill. Somebody's going to have Dynamo. Somebody's going to have Hulk or those kind of things.
we all brought Researcher.
Yep.
We all
brought hammers.
Yeah, but that's more. Researcher is definitely a meta thing.
Yeah, research.
Hammers,
Yeah, fair.
Hammer's more of a list thing. Because I'm running Hulk.
So
Hulk with 2 hammers is stupid.
Yep, and I'm running Thanos. And Thanos with 2 hammers is ridiculous.
can confirm on the Hulk.
Yeah, my third hole's still feeling that one.
Explain what you meant though by where Researcher is a meta thing, where Hammers is a list thing. What does that mean?
Hammers is I don't think anyone hates or loves. I mean, there are some lists that love hammers, but there's no list that hates hammers. It's not just a hate pick.
Everybody can
research
play
I think
hammers.
Hammers is the most popular crisis.
It is.
Yeah, and
Everybody
I
can
mean,
play hammers.
it's
though.
so
That's the thing.
ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Researcher
People
is
just like rolling dice.
Yeah.
so-
yeah, and there's 4 of them. It's stackable. Like,
yeah.
there's a little bit for everybody,
Mhm.
but researcher is like
You're either good at research or you're not.
yeah.
How do
it's-
Web Warriors win? Well, they pick up as many of the extracts as they can. Well, you can't pick up a researcher.
turns off all their venom blast.
Yeah.
Turns off.
Turns off
Like
cat steal.
It turns off mission objective.
Rhino and robbery. Like
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes it so that Hellfire has
Hellfire
to
falls apart.
sit on something. They have to sit on points. They can't just be holding something
yeah.
and do their leadership. So they fall apart if they get displaced.
Well, and it affects webs. It goes that way with webs too, right? Because they use the reroll skulls for Miles' leadership.
True.
Too.
Yep.
True.
So
Very
like,
true.
if they're not on an objective.
Yes. And Wakanda, they're so tempo-y that they have a crazy extract opening too. And if it's researcher, they don't.
Yeah.
So
When you say tempo-y, what does that mean?
the R&D, Spirit of Wakanda, everyone gets 3 power.
Yeah, like they're going to be
we
trying to do a lot of things, a lot of jank with extracts early,
We
like
should-
on round 1.
So because with Spirit of Wakanda, they can get all their team powered up early, and then they can go get an advantage to the extracts early
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It usually involves Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Quicksilver.
Sometimes Quicksilver. Sometimes it's anybody that if they want to do an ice play. I mean, it's pretty like you can do it almost
Yeah,
anyone.
they run Bill, right?
Yeah, but they run Bill.
But speaking of eyes, we're all running eyes.
Yes, we are.
We all have an eyes play.
We all have fallback.
Well, fallback. So the eyes play is kind of a meta thing, but not like a specific meta thing. Just kind of,
If you have priority.
yeah.
Eyes is good.
Unless you're on
Well,
unless you're on research.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing with Thanos though is like Thanos. I don't need to have priority to grab either side of both hammers.
That's true.
Because I can just move in space. I can just park in the middle and go, I'm going to move space, grab a hammer, and then walk back, grab the other hammer.
Same with Hulk.
Yeah.
Unless there's terrain in the way. Because Thanos moves faster than Hulk.
He does. Slightly.
Even faster with the Shield-mobile.
That's true. So we all have. Do we have secures that are the same?
I'm running
No.
Gamma, Demons, and Meteors.
Yeah.
We are repeating meteors.
Meteors, yeah.
And we're repeating Gamma.
And we're repeating Gamma.
Yeah, so we're not stacking there. And we're not stacking any 3. We're not 3 stacking any extra or team tactics cards, are we? Because you're not.
Besides,
You're not running brace.
No, I'm not running Brace. Besides Mission Objective and
Oh yeah.
Fallback.
Fallback
I'm
and
sorry,
ice.
restricted ones.
Restricted? No. I
No,
don't
no,
think
we're
so.
not. We're not overlapping.
We-
Because
Alex and I have
we have brace.
brace. You have.
Sacrifice.
You have sack.
Oh, I have Sack too.
So you both have sack. Alex and I both have brace. I have patch up,
And then I just have Sack.
and you're running shield. So
Yep.
they're like, what the fuck is a restricted card?
Yeah.
Oh, there's all these restricted cards.
We've still
And then
got
we got
bans.
rid of them,
We've still
and then we got
banned
them all.
cards.
Yeah, we got all the band shit.
So a Highlander format, the teams that you would have put together would look dramatically different.
I don't think they would look dramatically different.
JP
our,
and mine
our crisis
would
would
be
definitely
definitely-
look different.
But your crisis is influencing what your roster is too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would be running. Someone would be running scenario.
Yeah.
It would either be me or David. And then the other guy would take
Attrition.
attrition.
Yeah.
Avengers kind of can do anything.
Yeah.
So
They wear many hats.
I like someone would have to take researcher, and then I don't know. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm playing Avengers is for researcher, rather than just a strict scenario team, because I want to like really Russian roulette the matchups.
Yeah.
Like
I'm expecting a lot of teams to be playing the scoring shit. I'm expecting probably 2 out of every 3 teams, or like 2 out of every 3 teams will probably be.
I mean, that's what's good right now.
Yeah, running scoring stuff.
And they can do the same thing, so they can put just a bunch of score teams together and have
or
all
they
these.
can put a bunch of attrition or whatever they wanted to do.
So, what's your plan? Obviously, researcher is kind of the plan if you're hitting a score team, but you may or may not get that. And if you're run into a score team and you don't get put on researcher, how do you plan for that? And does that change because it's a non-Highlander versus a Highlander format?
The question is against scoring teams?
Yeah. So, I mean, what's kind of the plan B if plan A is get them on researcher?
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, what's plan B?
Well, I mean, if it is Highlander, right, you're already going to be able to look at your opponent's rosters and go, okay, well, they're the scory guys, blah, blah, blah. You can, like, dissect what they're doing. But, like, when you see the roster and they're all 3 scoring teams, you're like, well, okay.
I mean,
something.
It's just like copy-paste different teams.
Yeah.
You're taking all the same scenarios. You can't do that in Highlander, so you try to target that with researcher. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not playing any scoring crisis, so the highest scoring crisis I got, like, hammers.
Hammers, yeah.
Same.
So.
Well, JP and I are playing.
Well, you have
and
sword.
scrolls.
Sword technically scores 4.
I guess, yeah, but
When we were playing tonight, I forgot.
Because I'm not running any secures. I'm not running any secures.
did you need it the one turn you had it?
Was it even the whole time?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was even the whole time.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, the one
I haven't
time
played
you
Sword
had
forever.
it, you fucking won. So
What was the original question?
So the original question was, since you guys could bunch up and just have your attrition and the counterplay for the scoring, right? So what's the plan for a scoring team if you don't get researcher? How
that depends on if we end up on our blues or our reds. Because if we end up on our blues and the scoring team is on a D, I mean, you have to have a different plan for a D.
my list, I feel pretty good about it because all my pay to flips, you're pretty fucking close. I'm shooting you, period.
Yeah, if you land on a pay to flip too, you really stunt the
score teams.
tempo of score too.
Yeah. Because most scoring teams aren't going to have the ability to interact with the secure and interact with the extract. Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, they can, but it's like just saps a lot of power.
Yeah.
And that echoes in later rounds. Like round 2, they start with 1 power again. Like
The only one that I have a problem with is Wakanda. That one's a little rough.
and you can at least hopefully do what
But
you
we
can
also,
to
like,
work to
dodge,
avoid
try to dodge
Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we can try to dodge Wakanda, but I mean, you can try. It's not a guarantee. And that's the only one that I really have a problem with because they make up for the pay to flip with Spirit, no problem.
Well, and I got to be a little careful against scoring teams. Like I can't go necessarily tall Thanos.
if you end up on a D, it's hard to do Thanos.
Yeah,
and then you have to pivot to a scoring.
Which
setup.
is with the reason why I have like Spectacular and like I added Widow and stuff.
So you've made your list. You've kind of cooked it. So you've got a counter to something like that.
I mean, the main game plan is Thanos and the initiative and do all the cool shit.
Like if you end up on your secures, you're probably running Thanos.
Yeah, probably.
But if you're on a D, it just makes him tough because the Death Decree,
Yeah,
the gas mileage you get out of Death Decree is just not there.
it's not there now.
And he's not great at rotating. Like,
I mean,
he's
Shield
okay.
Wheel helps, but
Yeah, Shield Wheel does for one shot. Yeah.
And I mean, the
for
Space
sure.
Gem really helps him out too.
I mean, he's still moving and spacing and only getting one punch, which he really doesn't want.
No, agreed. I'm not saying
He wants
it's
to
the
be
best.
double punching as much as possible.
Absolutely, but it's better than what a lot of characters.
Yeah, it is.
have.
It is better than what a lot of characters. I mean, he can do it if he has to do it, but
Yeah.
he don't like it. Thanos definitely don't like it.
So your plan is just Thanos on your secures and Scory, like a Scory team on their secures.
Unless it's research. If it's research,
Yeah,
I probably
yeah.
could still run Thanos.
True.
Yeah.
And what's your plan? If you end up on D's.
If I end up on D's?
You're running X-Force, though. You're just kind of running the same... Like, you don't... I don't know if your list really...
I mean, Cable's fine on a D, right? He could still just, like,
I mean, you
place
just
shoot
take
5,
Cable.
yeah.
You just take him.
Yeah.
I don't think your list really
I'm not worried
adjusts
about it.
too much.
No. But, like, not in a bad way.
No, you just do your thing.
Just, yeah. I go get the thing and then I go punch you.
You just do your thing.
But then also thinking about it, like, what is the least popular pay to flip out there? It's spider portals, without a doubt. At least that's what
I think it's meteors. I think people don't play meteors.
I think spider portals.
I mean, the spider portals is probably pretty rare too. But...
So if you drop spider portals, how many other Ds are there? Two. So,
yeah.
And I've got one of them, and it's hammers. So I don't.
No, well, no, we're talking about secures.
Yeah, you could end up with
Black Order
riots
Descends and Riots.
Yeah, you could end up with riots.
I forget riots is a D.
Yeah.
I forget riots is a D.
Riots is a rough one.
It is because I gotta sit there.
Well, the scory teams can double heal on it.
Yeah,
is just rough.
Yeah, it is rough,
especially with Emma. She can like triple heal.
Yeah.
Riots is rough. My plan is if I end up on a D, I'm probably trying to outscore with Steve's tempo.
Oh, Steve. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, you are gonna run Steve. I don't think there's a situation where probably you don't run Sam. I don't think so.
No,
we had one tonight. That Sam probably should have been.
Sam,
better.
He should have come. I should have taken him in that game, but also I was playing against X-Force. He was trying to knock my block off.
That's true.
So the Sam leadership is really freaking good against a scory team. Sam's leadership is not as good there. Yeah, I mean, it's still okay.
It's okay. It's more so you just get to play wide, and the few times that you may end up getting dazed or KO'd, you can make
Avengers
up story.
Do that anyway, even with Rogers.
I mean, the way I have my list with Rogers is I have Panther who can move and pounce and punch a midline. I've got Gwen who can double move and pull the midline. I've got Miles who can move, web swing, punch the midline. Or you just web swing, punch midline, and then punch again. I've got Hulk that can move up and throw. I got Bill who can move up and throw. I've got Sam who can charge and throw and push off twice. So I have a lot of displacement round one with Steve's discount, which can put me in advantage on secures, which that's kind of my plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out.
What have you thought through in terms of who's going to be the offer, who's going to be kind of the first list that you're putting down? Will it depend on the rosters that you're facing, or how do you think through that?
I think I have the most generalist list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alex kind of does too in a way. He's not really. Alex doesn't adjust his list really to his opponent, so I guess you could call that a generalist list, right? If you're bringing the same thing every time.
I'm probably one who's running the punchy.
It's probably you're running Thanos, so I mean your list is. I wouldn't say it's built around Thanos. You can run it without Thanos as is, and it's fine. It's not like it's completely.
I mean, it's still
neutered.
wide shield, right?
It's not. Yeah, it's not like it's neutered if you don't run Thanos, but you have brought a lot of cards for Thanos.
Yeah,
and built for Thanos, and I think that's just what you want to play. So if they can get you off Thanos, it's probably. I don't know if your scenario is. It's probably a dog in a scenario fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an option, and you could win with it, but I think it's probably a dog. I'd have to see more of it. We don't grind reps really.
Yeah.
Like we're just bringing kind of whatever to the shops. We haven't been really grinding any kind of matchup, but I'd be interested to see you play against Webs.
Yeah, if I don't get research.
Yeah, like with Fury and the Black Widow, with controlling where you drop your extracts, how well they can actually play the extract game against you, as far as, taking him off.
Yeah, I mean, between the Fury Grunts and Widow, it definitely makes their Venom blasts not feel as good.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, David more than likely will never be offered.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I think David's probably the least offered.
JP, I feel you'll probably get offered a little bit more than myself. Just a little bit.
Probably. I mean,
Unless we encounter some team that we're just like, I don't even know what they're doing.
yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, well.
If we encounter a team where we get all three of our lists can take on all three of their lists,
Yeah.
I think it'd just be fun to offer you just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
at that point.
But like, what do you do against Thanos?
Should we go through lists?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Just and then go through them, and then go through them with the idea of how you kind of came to the list, the decisions in terms of the characters, and then how you ended up having to sort of do back and forth to land on the list that you had,
Well,
given that you had to share it.
I know that, like, me and you had talked about, like, we should be taking the characters that are good, right? Like, somebody should be running Bill. Somebody should be running Dynamo. Somebody should probably be running Thanos. Somebody should probably be running Hulk. Like, just because these characters are good.
And
right?
is that where you kind of started the conversation?
I feel like we kind of try to dodge. We've done enough team tournaments. We kind of figured out, like, starting off, you want to step on as few toes as possible.
Yeah.
Just out the gates. So if you're running, say, X-Men, you don't want to have another person running X-Force or something like that.
Yeah, something where there's just going to be so much crossover where it's going to be like you don't want to have somebody running Spider Foes and running Criminal Syndicate.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be, they're going to be fighting over characters.
So you're kind of picking lanes just to start with.
Yeah. You kind of want to look and like with the three of us, we kind of know what each other likes to play and what we're good at, and so we kind of like look at those things too.
Yeah. It's usually two people kind of pick what they want to play, and then the third person fills in. That's kind of how it usually goes.
Yeah.
To whatever archetype is missing at that point.
Yeah, because I know for like Bug Eater, I'm planning to play Webs.
Yeah, we're switching it up for Bug Eater.
Yeah.
Since it's a singleton Highlander type.
Yeah.
We can't do this stacked researcher jank. So
So that's where you'll have to kind of go score, murder, play to fit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Alex is going to pivot over to Spider Foes because all those guys are going to be out. He's going to play pay to flips with them because they're pretty good on pay to flips with all the extra power and stuff. And I will fall back into Guardians, or I could do Cabal too.
You could do Cabal.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the two. And David will play Webs, and we'll just do the scenario attrition pay to flips thing.
Yep.
So maybe you don't have to go through like character by character, but just kind of want each of you summarize what you're playing, who you're kind of building it around, and how you're expecting the teams to work. Let's just get, I think that might be helpful. That way, listeners can kind of get an idea of how the team rosters are all working together for the team composition.
Well, I'm running Shield, and I'm running. My goal is to run Thanos as much as possible because Thanos with initiative, like he can shield mobile, he can battlefield medicine himself, he can like get sit repped. Like there's just so many things you can do with Thanos with shield mobile, and the initiative gives him a gadget token, which lets him remove a special condition. So like removing stagger from Thanos is real good. Like
With battlefield medicine, it's two
yeah,
staggers,
yeah, it's 2 staggers
which is really
and
good.
health, like and 3 health. So like
I'm sure that's not at all frustrating to face.
No.
real good.
Not one bit.
Well, and I mean, I've already figured out that like Thanos with shield mobile, because he can shield mobile round 1 because he has 3 power. So he can shield mobile to any mid-line point and double punch somebody. Like that's ridiculous. Thanos shield mobiling into your face and double punching you is not good.
Yeah.
And I could do that and still have enough and I can still space gem one of my characters. I don't have to space gem Thanos. Like I can space gem Tony up onto a back point and still double punch.
Well, with 2 attacks, you're probably generating enough power to also portal once, and probably Death Decree at least once.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. I like it a lot, and I like a lot of the shield characters with like Thanos' Death Decree. It's just like, and I mean, my plan is to run Tony because Tony's leadership is just so good with Thanos. Like anytime you have dice modification with Thanos, it's just fantastic with reality.
Having an eye in the sky with Thanos
is also really good. So my plan is to jam Tony, Fury, and Thanos in as many games as I possibly can. So my entire roster is all affiliated except for Thanos because I know that there's no way I'm going to be able to play anybody else besides that if I'm planning on jamming Fury and Tony and Thanos.
There's no way you go 5 wide.
Yep.
With Thanos. Like you're already at 16 with
the 2 of them.
With the 3 you just said. So
yeah.
I guess you could go Widow and like a 2-threat at 20, but
I would have to take another 2-threat, which
you don't even have scrolls.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
How about you, JP?
I got Avengers.
And you're building that basically around
a Steve list.
Okay.
Steve's good.
Yeah.
His leadership's real good.
Like I was saying earlier, I think I can tempo with secures round 1 and get an advantage there, hopefully. If not, it's going to stay pretty close.
You're running Ultron. Who's running Ultron 2?
Me.
GP.
Okay, yeah. So you can do the Steve Hulk Ultron 2 at 15, which is good.
So it's kind of multifaceted list, I guess. I've got 2 15s in the list. I've got Researcher and Gamma. Yep. So like David said, I can run Steve Hulk Ultron, and that's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, annoying. One power bows are like nuts.
Yeah. Ultron at 15 is just
he's rough.
He's immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you sacrifice a tactics card, and you just.
Ultron
never dies.
Like, the deterrent of it is just
the deterrent being Age of Ultron.
And you could just play him as loose and wild as you want.
Yeah, you just run him outside and go, okay, attack him if you want to.
You ride that dude till his brakes fall off.
Yeah.
And then I took Bill. I don't think anyone else wanted Bill.
No,
so that was kind of nice.
None of us needed Bill. Yeah.
Like he's like the premier splash, and I didn't even have to.
It's an interesting
have a conversation about him.
Yeah. That's an interesting place to be.
And with Steve, he can double move throw round 1, which is pretty freaking good.
Bill's throw is real good.
Like he can't do that anywhere else except Inhumans, right? Or I guess Professor X.
Yeah, he could do Professor X.
I'm bringing Black Panther. He's kind of a glue for the Avengers. I have a lot of splashes, so being a 4-threat affiliated, I'm not running a 2. So I have kind of weird math problems that Black Panther helps alleviate at certain threat levels. And he's just really good.
He's very good.
Having long move, pounce, and an auto push, like he just
plus mantle for 1 power is stupid.
Yeah, I mean he just owns a scenario or a secure round 1.
Yeah. Well, and like on a D, he can. He could take 2 people on a D, right? Like he could
maybe. I mean,
he could survive and push people off.
If you're trying to score, yeah.
He can definitely hold his own by himself. Like he doesn't. You don't have to babysit him with anybody.
Yeah, I'm bringing Sam because Sam is Sam.
Yeah, Sam's good.
And I might use Sam as a leader at some points. Probably not, but it's an option. And I don't have a bad list for Sam. It's not optimized for him, but it's still good. I've got Bill. I've got Luke. We'll talk about in a minute.
Well, you can also threaten the plan to play Sam, right? Like you could just
and Panther goes Sam. Like I could easily pivot to Sam, but Sam is just really good under Captain America Steve because
so
he has 3 superpowers. They all cost 2, which get reduced to 1, and one of them is reactive, so he can use that multiple times around for a reduction. Sam is just stupid.
Yes, it was.
And he goes into overdrive under Steve. I've got Hulk. Hulk is my favorite model. He's also affiliated Avengers. And
he's Hulk.
He gets discounts on Puny Banner, Throw, and Gamma Leap. So, yeah, Hulk is real good.
Yeah.
Don't leave home without him.
Best throw in the game.
Yeah.
Best throw in the game.
Mm-hmm. Luke Cage, he's probably my... I hate Luke Cage. He's such a boring model to play. He's so fucking boring. I hate him. But he's really good, and he's an Avenger.
He's also a good like a chew toy. That's what I call him, a chew toy.
Yeah.
Like he's good to throw him out there, and like he's good. He's great bait to like throw him into Hulk and go, okay, Hulk, you deal with this 3-threat. Like you probably will kill him, but you're not gonna do it like easily.
He's also just a good tech piece.
Yeah.
Into certain things like webs, for instance, with all their venom blasts, he can Here's for Hire and take the venom blast hit, and therefore you won't drop your extract, and then you can place next to them
And throw them away,
taunt them again.
Yeah.
Or throw them away. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good too.
Or you can just take a really big hit from something.
Yep.
Say they've got like playing a Poldak or something. Your
Good
Hulk
with
Dark Rain or something.
Usurp, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You just take the hit. And he's affiliated, so that's one thing. I only have 2 affiliated 3s in the list, and then I splashed 2 3s because I didn't feel like the affiliated 3s were as good, and I could get away with splashing 3s, and I valued the ability of the 3 to play the game more than their use of Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
There were a couple that I considered. I thought about Beast as affiliated or Quicksilver, but ultimately I went with Ghost Spider and Miles, just because they're real good with Steve discount.
Well, and Miles having a size 3 throw on a builder is fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Well, with Steve, if you get lucky and you web swing and kick and do, say, like 4 damage or something, I mean, that sets Miles up to have a really good game.
Yeah, because he's going to have a bunch of power.
He's having power. You can Venom Blast round 2. And
you're going to throw somebody off a point.
Yeah.
Like, it's good.
If it puts him on, it gets him on line a turn earlier. It's something that webs have to spend advanced R&D to do.
Yeah.
And you just get to do it. So it saves you a tax card, and you get to do it every round. And Ghost Spider, I kind of talked about her a little earlier. She's real good with Steve, and she has the infinite web pools. Well, not infinite, but pretty much. And she's like chock full of power. She just like pulls everybody off.
So good.
And she can sit there longer with Steve bodyguarding and not worry about getting pasted. Usually when you're holding her action in another affiliation, you're just worried that like a rhino's going to charge, punch her, place, throw a size 4 into her face.
Yeah. And then she goes down.
Yeah. And then I'm running Ultron, who I talked about, for the 15. The thing I would like is another 2 or a 2 or another 3. I've noticed a few problems. It's not problems, but it's like I can't take all the splashes I want to take. I'm also running Crimson Dynamo. If I had to cut one, it would probably be Dynamo.
Well, and I know before you were really liking Cable, but Alex is running it.
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about Cable.
Yeah.
I've gotten sweet on Ultron since I cut Cable. So Cable was in there for Ultron. Ultron is just really repetitive at 15, and that's kind of what I was doing at 15 was Cable, Hulk, Steve. And Cable's really freaking good too there because he can just shield everybody for 1 power.
Yeah, shielding Hulk is stupid.
Yeah, and he gives you Incinerate. With that team you're trying to beat down, so Incinerate's real good, and he's got like a size up to size 4 throw. Like Cable's really good.
Well, can he pull a objective on round 1?
Yeah, with Steve.
Yeah,
he was
another move, body slide.
Yeah,
grab objective, move back.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I cut him for Ultron. Ultron's fine.
Yeah,
the advantage of Cable was that he allowed me to play a 5-threat and still splash stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas here I can't take. It's really hard to take Ultron and Crimson Dynamo. It's like impossible to do it with Hulk, and Hulk is kind of a centerpiece. I end up running Hulk a lot, so. Dynamo's really good. He's good when I put him on the table. I just don't run him a lot. If I had to cut one, it would be him, but I just don't know if it's worth it to cut him because I don't know who I cut him for. Like I have candidates, but I don't know how often those candidates are going to see table either. So,
well, and ultimately, right, Dynamo is still Dynamo. He's really good, and he's good on E.
Dynamo's incredible,
and he's good with Steve, like ridiculous with Steve, like 1 cost.
Yeah.
like force rerolls are so good.
Well, you can also round 1. You can meditate him.
Yeah.
Or sorry, you can port him up for 1, and then meditate him.
Yep.
And get 2 power.
Yep.
And then beam.
Yep.
If you want, or you could port him up, meditate, and then move.
Yeah.
Pick up an extract.
Yep.
And you still have 1 power.
Yeah.
Which is
to
better
save
than
yourself
having 0
in
power.
Case, yeah.
And that 1 power is like it gets you a discounted disruption field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And disruption field's
round
so
1.
good.
Yeah,
good.
it's really good. Dynamo is real good under Steve, and he's real good under Sam too.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's just good. I just don't put him on the table a lot because somehow I end up on 15s a lot, and I'm just running Ultron Hulk and Cap. But yeah, I've got Avengers Assemble, obviously, Brace for Impact, Eyes on the Prize, Fall Back, Heroes for Hire. Nobody wanted. Well, I guess we didn't have to fight over Heroes, but we would have had to fight over Cage, and this one wanted to run Iron Fist.
Yeah. I didn't really have a use for Iron Fist, so
yeah.
Today.
Mark for Death, Mission Objective, Patch Up, Recal, and Age of Ultron. So,
What's your list look like, Alex?
It's X-Force forcing as many rerolls as possible. It's, all the 3 threats from X-Force, the Domino, X-23, Deadpool. We threw Psylocke in there because I think, personally, that my choice was because with how common Web Warriors are, you gotta have that Mystic. And Psylocke's just good.
She's good in the webs.
But yeah, webs, they don't like her. They don't like her at all.
Yeah.
And then she's got all of her rerolls that she can do.
Yeah. No, she's good.
And I put Logan in there because he's just stupid good on meteors, stupid good on sword.
I hate Logan. I got so overtuned.
I really like him on Mad Men too. He's really good
His
there.
Tornado Claw's so stupid.
When I put him on the table, he does dick.
Yeah, he really does. And like something about my Logan, you just have a problem with.
Well, I mean, he gets what, 3 rerolls, and one of them can be a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
And Pierce.
And Pierce.
Well,
so
like
good.
the first game you played with your Juggernaut, I remember specifically it was your first game that you played with Juggernaut, and my Logan.
Oh, that guy with 8 health and damage reduction.
Yeah. Did 9 damage to your Juggernaut with 1 X slash.
No, it was Domino. So you moved up, did an X slash, and then you moved up and like shot with Domino and got a rapid fire shot again, and you were able to kill Juggernaut with two attack actions.
One of them was a pistol.
Yes.
Yeah.
An X slash and a pistol shot. And my Juggernaut turned into fucking Play-Doh.
And then it was just over from there at that point. But I've got Zemo for the extra rerolls if I really need them.
I wanted Zemo, right?
Yeah.
Zemo, that guy, like, I don't know how that guy has not gotten touched. Like, nothing. He's the same. Like,
That guy's overtuned as fuck, too.
Yeah. Zemo's so
And he's
good.
the same as he was when the game dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one of the only, like, 2 core box models that has yet to be touched. No, 3.
Widow 2 hasn't been changed.
Widow, 2 threat Widow.
2 threat Widow.
Yeah, Widow.
Zemo.
Yeah, she hasn't changed. Oh, you're talking just with the core box, yeah.
Yeah.
And
From
Doc
the original
Ock.
core box.
Doc Ock didn't get touched.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything with the original Red Skull, did they?
Mm-mm.
No,
Oh, yeah, I
you're
forget.
right.
Well, yeah, you're
Would
right.
you like
Yeah,
half the box?
you sort of forget he
Nobody-
exists.
Yeah, he
Half
doesn't
the box got
exist.
buffed,
Yeah.
And
right?
Yeah. Half the box got buffed.
Cap,
And-
Tony,
Ultron, Captain Marvel.
yep, and
Parker got
Parker
one.
got
Parker,
one
yeah.
health.
Yeah. Crossbones is the same.
Crossbows is the
Oh, yeah,
same.
Crossbones.
So half the box.
Okay.
So I think Zemo, I think you really considered running Zemo on ease.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Zemo's there for ease for days.
You just castle and just get reroll.
Yep.
Well, and Zemo's good on a D too.
He is good on a D. You're right.
Yeah.
Zemo's just good.
I've got Hela in there for the eyes play, and again for Web Warriors because they don't like her at all.
No, they don't. Like
Yeah.
I put Pyro in there for just in case steals.
I like Pyro against big guys too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the incinerates.
No,
Root.
with the
Root and
fire.
Slow is good.
Yeah.
Web Warriors really fucking hate Pyro.
Yes,
do.
they do. Yeah, well,
He
there's
incinerates
my,
and he roots and slows
there's
them
my
up.
Web Warriors team.
Because they're not bringing weak kicks against you.
Yeah, they're not.
No.
bringing
Why would they bring weak cakes?
just being able to like firewalling somebody's so good.
Yeah.
like
So like
firewalling ASM. Oh my god.
Who else slows really? It's like webs.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
there's not a staple character who slows
No.
that people splash for a slow. Like the only time you're getting slowed is some random attack that has a slow on it.
I
Or
can't even,
like
honestly,
all webbed up or pyro, right?
Yeah, I can't even think.
I guess
of
Hawkeye and She-Hulk, right? But not anybody plays She-Hulk.
Not even anyone plays Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah. I mean, Hawkeye's fine.
He's fine.
Doesn't Iceman's like when you
No,
get close to him?
Yeah, nobody plays him either.
Right.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, maybe Squaggles teaches us something.
Yeah, maybe somebody's got some jank with it.
Oh,
Well,
Bullseye.
I bet
I got Bullseye
I
in there
bet Ghost
too.
Steer. Well, he's probably running X-Men. I'm betting.
Yeah, he's got to run X-Men, right?
Bullseye's in there for the 6 wide.
Well,
And like
Bullseye's
some weird maths.
Bullseye's.
I mean, he's still good. Don't get me wrong.
Bullseye's the
He's-
attrition too. Like,
Yeah,
if you're fighting,
but
you
he's
think-
he's
you think-
definitely there more for the math. I feel.
I mean,
he's good too. Well, and he's one of the very few 2 threats that can like actually do damage, even though it's not a lot. but
having
he can do-
guaranteed damage is so big.
It's good.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
no, I'm
guaranteed
not
damage,
denying that at
the
all.
bleed,
He's-
and he has hit and run, so he can still be useful on a crisis.
And
Right?
he's party
Yeah.
shot.
And he's party shot. So like,
I mean, in my opinion, he's the second best 2 in the game. Right behind Toad.
yeah, I mean he's good.
But
Wong's probably up there, but
Wong is good too.
yeah,
I,
probably top 3
yeah,
in some order,
yeah.
depending.
But I mean, I feel as though again, Bullseye, fantastic, great, but he's more there for the math. I feel, just so that way I can do things
Yeah,
instead of being stuck with certain.
I mean,
things.
X Force is gonna go wide naturally anyway, just based on the way their attrition or
Yeah, for
their
the most part,
affiliation is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So having an option at 2 threat is pretty good
Yeah.
if you're already doing that anyway.
So there are some team tournaments that are 5-person tournaments instead of 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
Yeah,
haven't
there's
played any of
there's
those.
only one that I can
Yeah,
think of,
WTC
and that's
is the only one I've
WTC.
seen, yeah.
How would a 5-person team, how would that affect your decisions, your team compositions?
That'd be so crazy.
Well, WTC is the same as squad goals, where you can overlap on your crises and your tactics.
Can you overlap on tactics?
Yes.
yeah, you
okay.
can overlap on Texas.
So, and you can only overlap some
Oh,
crises.
You're right.
Because
You have to
you have to use all of
you
them.
have to have
Yeah.
all of the crises in your
Yeah.
teams.
But like 2
rosters.
people could take a researcher.
Right,
for
but
example.
you have to have all of them before you can duplicate.
Yeah, before you.
It gets a lot tougher, I think, trying to get 5 lists together, like 50 unique characters, because I think the compromises increase exponentially after you get past 3 lists.
At that point, yeah, like it's almost to the point where you're playing almost pure affiliation. I feel.
Well, you're also not. I mean, with the 3,
the really good splash characters become
A commodity.
Yeah.
Well, and that's if their main affiliation is not being played.
exactly,
Right.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you almost play pure affiliation at that point.
well, and then with a 3-person team too, you're kind of locked in. You're going to do score, kill, pay to flip. If you've got 5, then you're trying to figure out, okay, do we do 2 score? Do we, you don't quite have that sort of obvious demarcation of how you're splitting the teams up.
Mm-hmm. Like the way I think of it, like just right off the top of my head, you got your score, your kill, your pay to flip. You're stuck with this, and then you get whatever you want.
Somebody's playing some obscure affiliation.
And
Yeah.
somebody's getting Winter Guard.
Yeah, somebody's
Don't
playing-
you tread on my winter card. They won the timeline event tournament, okay?
That's
Damn it.
fair. That's fair.
I mean, you could do 2 strong scenario teams,
You could do.
and then probably 2 attrition teams.
2 attrition teams and somebody run the pay to flips on the last. But you could also with 5 man, you could get real. You could have a player with like a really skewed roster. Like you could have a player that's like, I'm gonna go all in on Kingpin, and just run Kingpin crims.
Oh, year 2022. I loved it.
Yeah.
You could. It takes Kingpin's weird. Not weird, but he takes Rhino off the table. He takes Cat off the table.
He does.
So
yeah.
instantly, Kingpin and Webs are having issues.
Yeah.
Because Webs want Cat, and Hellfire wants Rhino.
And Midnight Suns is almost gone too because they want Cat.
Yeah, and Kingpin wants Bill.
Yeah, Kingpin wants Bill.
And Emma wants Bill.
Ugh.
It's just.
I want to go to WTC, but God, that's
I
gonna be so hard.
It gets rough.
We'll
real
have to
quick.
do it. We'll do it sometime.
Yeah,
Some point.
my
Maybe.
wife's already given the okay because she's like, I get to travel out of the U.S. All right, I'll go.
She wants to stay at an airport.
she has zero problems with it.
Well, that makes
When my kids get a couple of years older.
yeah, that makes one of us that's got permission for that.
Was it like $3,000
Just
Yeah,
about.
I did the math.
I mean,
It's
I don't
just
think
about
I could go to
for one
Denmark.
person?
With plane tickets, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I could go to Denmark without the wife. She wouldn't have. She's like,
No.
it's Europe. I have to go.
Yeah, that has like that's how I got the.
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know if it's happening for me.
Any other kind of closing thoughts? Anything with regards to team? Anything specific with regards to the plans that you guys have got for squad goals? What you're thinking? Anything that we haven't covered?
I think our lists are kind of interesting because they're. I don't want to say they're oddball, but like a Thanos shield list is not really on a news radar.
That's pretty oddball.
Yeah, I'm just saying like the three.
It's gonna that roster's gonna somebody's gonna get surprised when they get a fucking Thanos in their face on round one.
Yeah, like X Force is pretty a known commodity. Avengers is pretty.
I mean,
known.
but they're good.
Yeah. Oh, X Force is great.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like we were talking about earlier. Alex doesn't really change his list depending on the opponent too much because they just kind of do what they do. So everyone kind of expects X Force to do what they do. So they're a very known quantity. Avengers kind of. You could do a lot of different Avengers builds. I think the whole Ultron Steve thing might come up as a surprise to some people. I just think it's interesting that we're not bringing any of the hyper scenario.
Yeah, we're not bringing any hyper.
I just like
scoring.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
I mean, I can pivot to score. Like, I can't go as wide, but
I mean, I guess technically I could too, but
it's not
I want to avoid it because I feel like that everybody's gonna bring scoring teams.
agreed. Yeah.
So like, I feel like you're just gonna get disadvantaged because you can't maximize.
I think my list can hang with scoring teams. But if we land on researcher, then
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
All right. It's gonna be easy.
welcome to Hulk.
I mean, I
Hulk,
can still do
Ultron,
the wide shield. I mean, I did the wide shield against you, Patrick, and it
Yep.
was pretty good.
It wasn't.
I
it was.
had 8 models.
with
the grunts?
with the grunts. Yeah.
Okay, with grunts. I was like, I don't remember you having 2 2s.
Yeah.
No, with the grunts, it was 8.
I had 8 models. Yeah.
How did
And
you?
20.
Oh, wait. How did you do it?
I thought it was. Was it
4-4-4. No, 4-4-3-3-3-3.
I think I ran Widow, right?
You
You
ran.
still can't fit in more.
Yeah,
than-
you had Core Widow.
You'd have to go.
So I was like 3-3, or I was like double force 2, and then maybe I was 3 force, and then
2 3s and a 2. So it's
yeah,
6.
yeah, and then the
And then
grunts
Grunts are
Yep.
7.
7. So I
Yeah.
run 7.
Yeah, that was 7. That's right.
But it was. I mean, it's still good.
It was very good.
It felt real good.
Yeah. I mean, the grunts don't help to have last act, but they definitely have actions.
Yeah.
They affect the board.
Yeah.
And swing scenario or swing extra X.
You're so good on X-Rays. Stupid grunts. So good.
Very good.
I think we'll do pretty decent.
I mean,
As
we're
long
gonna
as-
do what we do.
Yeah.
We're gonna play what we play.
How many teams are in the
Is it
event?
20 something? 22?
Last I looked, it was 22.
I think it's 22.
And the events
22 and the list locked tonight, so they can't have any more signups.
They
right?
were locked noon.
Oh,
Or, yeah. So that means no more signups, right?
Yeah, no.
If
Yep.
lists
Yeah,
are
yeah,
locked.
they're done.
So it's 22.
and it's 5 rounds.
Yeah, it's 5 rounds.
Yeah, I believe three Saturday, 2 Sunday.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and I like I said, I'm fully expecting players to run. I mean, there's gonna be players who just like bring the thing that they're good at and they're known to play, and there's gonna be people who just bring like random like what the hell kind of rosters. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's 22 teams, which
That's crazy. That number hasn't changed at all in the past. Seems like a month
roughly, yeah.
ish.
But I mean, that's
'cause
still
we're like
That's 66
the 20th
players.
team to sign
66
up.
players. I mean, that's still
That's a lot.
I'm glad to see they don't have to have a ringer.
Yeah.
Because God,
Oh yeah.
I hate I don't have a problem with it. I just hate it at the same time. When I
Right.
have to ringer.
Will they have to go 5 rounds if it's only 22?
I think it's set 5 rounds.
No, but yeah.
oh
but
no, yeah, that's right. Because anything over 16 is
it's gonna be
because 8
fine.
is 3, 16 is
Yeah.
4. Anything over 16 is 5. Until you get to 33.
Yeah.
I know it's set 5 rounds.
Yeah.
though.
No, that makes. I had to do math in my head.
Any other closing thoughts, gentlemen?
I mean, I would say that when you're trying to, like, I think communication is the best. Like, I wouldn't go into a team event going, okay, I want to play this thing, and I'm just gonna play it, and you're gonna get whatever's left. Like, I don't think you look at it that way, because you're like you don't want to have one person whose roster is like completely optimized and then have 2 rosters that are just like extremely middling.
I think you have to be objective about the process.
Yeah.
You have to sit down and say, okay, we both want this. Whose list wants it more?
And if we can
Or
maybe
whose list needs it more?
and if we can find like, hey, maybe I take this character instead.
Exactly. Like some lists are they have a problem filling out their tactics cards. Some affiliations have really deep roster, so they can pull more out of it. It's kind of a give and take, and it kind of depends on the situation, like individually.
Communication is key, though.
Yeah,
Like,
and
if you do not communicate, one, it's going to take forever to make your lists. And 2...
One, I don't think you just got to try to avoid being greedy and being like, oh, I want to play with all of these things.
Yeah.
Sounds
Right.
like flexibility is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, flexibility is massive.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what I said earlier, I think you'd start with things that aren't stepping on each other's toes,
yeah.
and then you have way, way, way less things to talk about for compromises.
Yeah.
Start clean, and then you only have to. There's only a few things that there might be a character or 2, tax card or 2.
And if you're gonna play in a team event, be open to playing a lot, like multiple different affiliations. They'll be like, well, I only know how to play Midnight Suns, so I'm only gonna play Midnight Suns.
Yeah, step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. You know, the few team tournaments that we've done. Wait a second, I've only played like 3 affiliations. No, 2 affiliations. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
I did enjoy the one team tournament where I played Combo, and you played Guardians, and you played what did you play, X-Men?
Yeah.
That was pretty
existed.
cool, because
The first one that we did was you played Convo, he played Avengers, I played X-Men, and then I played X-Men again, and then you played Guardians,
and
you
I played Webs.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'm playing X-Force, which is it's not much.
It's not much
X-Peoples.
different. It's the mutant people's.
It's the shooty X-Men.
Yeah,
the mutant people's.
one has more guns than the other.
Cable.
And then you finally get to play foes.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to play those foes.
I'm excited to play the Webs with Ben. I think Ben's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it'll give them their little attrition, like researcher nudge that they.
Ben's
Unfortunately,
Ben's displacement is between Ben and Spectacular. That's just dumb.
Ben. So not to pull a David, but Ben in Steve Enders.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Here we go.
Ben would be pretty good in Steve Benders too.
Because he can
like pull somebody off a point and place onto it
yeah.
on round 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Because he can move, yoink somebody, place on the
He
point.
can move, yoink somebody off, get on the point, and then
Impact web somebody off. Yeah. That's good.
And have a power.
Yeah.
And then go into round 2 with 2
I
power.
mean, you could consider if you had a weak target, maybe trying to build her to get a throw, but that's a lot.
That's another play pattern. You could move up, impact web.
Yeah.
And
throw.
Get the power to throw.
And throw somebody off. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, good luck. I mean, I can say good luck now. By the time you're listening to this, we'll already know how they did. But good luck. We'll be anxious to, when we get back together next, we'll kind of do a debrief and see how much of this actually, in other words, once the rubber hits the road and we actually see how the rosters perform in it, then will be interesting to kind of see how much of the theory craft actually ended up coming to pass, or what. I mean, because there's going to be surprises. You're going to get curveballs. It'll be, what more we learned out of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is really fun to shield me. This is really fucking fun.
You could probably give any model to David and be like, all right, what can I do with shield or convocation with this stupid model?
I think we should give away.
Dice Power of the Cosmos fucking rocks with rerolls. It's really ridiculous.
I think we should do a giveaway for the first person who gets us a Shield Mobile card with a Thanos copter on it.
Yeah, a Thanos copter on a Shield Mobile card would be pretty freaking cool.
All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us, webheads. Remember, there's a number of different ways that you can support us. You can join the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can get access to our bonus episodes. You can get giveaways. You can get priority dojoing of rosters. It's been a minute.
Send us some rosters, man.
We haven't been pushing it, but you should send us your rosters so we can help you out. We can get you better. Make sure that you are following us. Make sure that you like us and that you give us a review on whatever your podcast app of choice is. That really does make a difference in terms of helping other people find us, so we can just kind of keep growing the community. Other than that, webheads, until the next time. Oh, wait.
Shameless plug. Don't forget my Bug Eater, May 31st, June 1st, June 2nd. Please sign up.
Yep.
I want more people, damn it.
Yep.
It'll be fun. Come.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be all there.
We will, Bug Eater links for sign up will be in the show notes, and we'll put it out on the socials as well. Thank you, Alex. Other than that, until next time, webheads, be good.